Welcome back to Singapore Property Talk Law.
Great to be here.
We're doing another deep dive today, looking at some really fresh data from the Singapore property scene. And hey, if you find these deep dives useful, do us a favor. Click like and definitely subscribe to the channel.
Yep. Helps us keep bringing you these updates. You won't miss out.
All right, so today we're zooming in on one specific thing, a really key land tender result.
That's right. The one right next to Lakeside MRT station. The tender just closed Tuesday, June 3rd.
Okay, so this lakeside site, tell us a bit about it. Where exactly is it?
It's along Lakeside Drive in Jurong West. Yeah. The big draw, like you said, is being right beside the Lakeside MRT. Makes it super convenient.
And it's a standard government land sale plot.
Yep. 99-year leasehold. And the zoning is interesting, too.
How so?
It's mainly residential, but crucially, it includes commercial space on the first floor. Mixed use.
Got it. Residential with some shops downstairs. So how many players were interested? Was it competitive?
We saw 6 bids come in.
Yeah.
A pretty solid number, shows decent interest from developers. They see potential there.
6 bids. And the winner was?
City Developments, CDL. They put in the highest offer.
Okay, CDL. What was the winning number?
They bid $608 million.
$608 million. Wow, okay, but the key metric everyone watches is the per square foot per plot ratio, right?
Yeah.
The PSF-TPR.
Exactly. That tells you the land cost relative to how much they can build. CDL's bid works out to about a 5,132 PSF PPR.
A $7,132, and that was the highest.
Correct. That was a top bid out of the 6. Sets a new benchmark for that specific spot.
Let's give that some context. Who else was bidding and what were their prices like? Who was number 2?
The second highest was a partnership, Fraser's Property and Mitsubishi Estate. They came in at $525 PSF PPR.
Okay, S$1,025 versus S$132. That's quite a gap. Over $100 PSF PPR difference.
It is. It's roughly a 10% difference, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
This suggests CDL was, well, significantly more optimistic or maybe aggressive about this site compared to the next bidder.
Interesting. What about the others? You said 6 bids total.
Yeah, the range went down from there. Capital Land and Sing Holdings were next at 985 PSF PPR. Then you had bids around 938 total and 922 TERS.
And the lowest?
The lowest was from Simlian at 938 PSF PPR.
So from $909 up to $132, that's quite a spread. Shows different developers really saw the value differently, huh?
Absolutely. A range like that points to varying views on risk, future selling prices, maybe even construction costs. CDL clearly has a strong bullish view on this location's future.
Okay, so CDL won it fair and square with the strong bid. What are they planning to build there? What can we expect?
Well, the site allows for a maximum gross floor area, or GFA, of about 537,000 square feet.
And in terms of homes?
That translates to roughly 575 private homes, so a pretty decent-sized condo project.
Right next to the MRT and the commercial part. Any specifics there?
Yes, there's a cap on the total commercial GFA, just under 11,000 SingFA. But the key thing is, there's a requirement for a supermarket.
A required supermarket.
Yep. At least 7,535 square feet must be a supermarket. The authorities clearly want that amenity locked in for residents.
Makes sense. Ensures convenience right downstairs. What else is good about the location, besides the MR2?
Big one is Jurong Lake Gardens. It's really close, offering lots of green space for residents. That's a huge lifestyle plus.
Parks are always popular. What about schools? Important for families.
Yeah, several schools are nearby too. Ruline Primary, Shuquan Primary, US Secondary, Yuanqing Secondary. So it ticks that box for families as well.
Okay, so MRTs, supermarket, park, schools. Sounds like a well-rounded offering.
Definitely. Ticks a lot of the key boxes for potential buyers.
Now let's bring this back to you, our listener. Why should you care about this specific tender, CDL winning at S2132 PSF PPR?
Well, it's a really strong signal, isn't it? It shows major developer confidence, especially CDL paying that kind of premium right in the Jurong West area.
And it's not just about Lakeside MRT today, is it? It's about the bigger picture for Jurong.
Exactly. You have to see this S$1,032 bid in the context of the Jurong Lake District, the JLD. The government's huge plan for a second CBD out west.
So CDL isn't just buying a site next to an MRT station, they're buying into the future vision of the JLD.
Precisely. They're betting on the long-term transformation, more jobs, more people, better amenities. This site becomes prime real estate in that future JLD landscape. The price reflects that long-term bet on Jurong's growth.
Right. So for you listening, this shows developers believe in the JLD story. What could this $1,132 land cost mean for the eventual selling prices of these 575 homes?
It's early, of course, but land cost is a big chunk of the final price. With land at S$1,130 PSF PPR, you'd typically expect launch prices to be probably north of $2,100 PSF, maybe even higher.
Done $2,100 PSF or more in Jurong West. That's noteworthy.
It is. And that potential launch price sets a new benchmark. It could influence the value of surrounding properties, both new and resale.
So this tender result, this S$132 figure, it ripples outwards.
Definitely. It signals what the market, or at least a major developer, thinks the area is worth, factoring in future potential. It can lift perceived values nearby if the project sells well at those prices.
So summing it up, CDL's S1132 PSF EPRR bid for the Lakeside site reflects strong confidence in the JLD, potentially leading to higher future launch prices and impacting the broader Jurong market. Plus, we'll see around 575 new homes and a supermarket transforming that immediate area.
That's the gist of it, a key indicator for the West.
Okay, so here's something to think about as we wrap up. CDL paid over 10% more than the next bidder. How much of that premium, that S$1,132, is based on today's Lakeside? And how much is a pure bet on the JLD master plan actually coming true exactly as envisioned?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or rather, the $608 million question. It highlights the calculated risk developers take on these long-term transformation plans.
Something to ponder. Thanks for tuning into this deep dive on Singapore Property Talk Law. Hope it gave you some good insights.
Until next time.